Morning, everybody. Today is March 25th, 2021, and we are going to be taking a look at gold, silver, the S&P 500, and Bitcoin. Going over to gold. Gold on the weekly is still in a correction. If I go over to the daily chart, you can see that we're basically consolidating. We had a down day and a close about 30 minutes ago. And this is tomorrow's candle, and we'll see what's happening. But it looks like we're either... we're kind of at this midpoint right now. The way this candle closed, this 3 candle, is really bearish to me, but it looks like we did run into support right here around this $17.25 area, and we'll see if it holds. My guess is that we may have room for one more leg to the upside before another trek back down to the bottom of the channel. It's either that or the midpoint of this channel, and this is considered a back test of this support structure right here, is what this is considered, and a rejection. So we'll see. If this 4 candle goes below this 3, I am expecting an acceleration to the downside. If this 4 candle manages to close above the body of this 3 candle, I am expecting either consolidation or some type of bullish pattern to start forming. And we'll pay attention, and that'll actually seal the weekly. So going over to the weekly chart, if the weekly chart can close above the midpoint of the body of this 1 candle, I will maintain a bullish position that we still have room to the upside. Going over to silver. Silver yesterday, or at least the close of today, that is a bullish 4 candle, and we'll see if this 5 starts to trade above this 4. That was the only thing that's a little bit disheartening about this, is that it did make a new intra-swing low as well as a new intra-daily close low, or intra-weekly, daily close low. Getting my words mixed up. This 5 candle, it needs to close above this 4 in order to start moving to the upside. So we'll see where this 5 candle goes on the daily, and that's going to close us for the week. Going over to the weekly on silver. The weekly is not looking good. If we close right now, this will be the lowest weekly close we've had since this run-up, and would be starting to put this low in jeopardy. We've already wicked below. Let's see, this is the 1, 2. This is the 3rd lowest intra-weekly swing since, let's see, since the beginning of the year, basically in the middle of January. So this is a 3-month low, is what it's looking like right now. The RSI still has some room to the downside. I think that we can definitely go into the oversold position on silver. We haven't done that in a while since our initial correction back here, which wicked us down all the way to $21. This is obviously broken. I was hoping to see a move back to retest the top of the, or to test this channel, which for some reason got removed. It should have been this right here. That was our channel that we broke out of, and Control Z. This right here is what I think we needed to come back and retest. However, it looks like we're going to be making another low before we come back for a full retest. And we'll see where the weekly closes. Like I said, the weekly needs to close above this green line right here in order for me to maintain a bullish position on silver. Otherwise, I'm expecting an acceleration to the downside. Going over to the S&P 500. The S&P 500 is consolidating still on the weekly. Today was a bullish candle, and I would call this a bullish piercing candle. We did wick below the 50 period moving average, which is not great, but it is good news that we managed to close all the way above the 30. So I would be paying very close attention to this. The weekly. Going over to the weekly chart. The weekly closes tomorrow. We have not come close to touching the 30-period moving average since October of last year. So we've had a full year of extension run up since then. And now I am expecting at some point to come back and test this 30-period moving average. When that happens, I'm not exactly sure. We are very, very bullish. And we have a ton of room. This long-term chart is looking very, very good. Stick a trend on the COVID low and see where we're at. So we are at a very critical point right now on the S&P 500. We are riding trend support. And if we break down from here, it's not going to be pretty. Now, I can draw this pattern, and this is not a good pattern to have. That is not a good pattern at all. That is a bearish wedge that we have formed. And that's not the kind of thing you want to see. This is a move from 34 all the way down to 20. This is a 1,400 point move, which would put us at 26 if you broke from here, which is a full retest of right here. That's not good. That is not good. So I'm not going to say anything about this pattern. This pattern does not have to play out. I can redraw this pattern to right here. And say that this was the retest, the initial test. You had a back test 1, 2, and then you broke out right here. And we've been going up. So I can say that this pattern is already played out, but I can also hold that steady, and that we just haven't had a clean touch on the top yet. So that's something to consider on the S&P 500. The other thing to look at is that we are in the bullish territory, but we are making like a descending triangle on the RSI as the price is going up. So we are diverging. We're diverging up here, and this is starting to look like the area. The MACD is starting to trend negative on the weekly. This is telling me this is looking like an area for a pullback, and not a small one. This is looking like a correction, maybe something. Honestly, it's looking like something like that again. This kind of ticking up. RSI diverges right here. You have this crossover right here, just like literally 1 second too short. We've already crossed over on the RSI or on the MACD and gone lower. So this is starting to look a little eerily similar to that. Stupid thing. The only other area I can really compare it to is right here. So going up here, You're seeing this correction, crossover, dips, maybe another dip, a lot of this consolidation, and then followed by a huge crash, which was our 08. This is our 2000 bubble. That's the 18 correction. And there's 08. So I can see it's not looking similar to 08, that's for sure. It is looking, however, eerily similar to this portion right here. And that's something to pay attention to. Oh, and sorry if you hear that in the background, that's the dog snoring. Going over to Bitcoin, let's take a look here. Bitcoin on the daily. The daily chart is looking great. I was kind of looking at it earlier. I didn't record the video, but I was thinking that we may have bottomed. It just seemed like this $50,000 area that we got so close to breaking down on looked like a good spot to bottom. Not the daily chart as a bottom call, but the 4-hour is really where I was paying most attention to. And it was this one candle and the way it was trading, which is, it was in this area right here, and that was about 5 hours ago. And looking at where it closed, I'm very, very happy with the fact that we have a 2 going above a 1. We're trading above the 7-period moving average. We have the potential to get back up here and at least retest this $5,400 area. Now, we've also made a lower low. We're not diverging. The MACD looks like it's trying to cross back over to the negative side. So these are bearish indicators for me. The candle structure, this is definitely a bullish candle, this one. And now we need to see where this 2 is going to close. Now this 2 is looking more and more like an indecision doji candle. I'm not exactly a huge fan of that. Going over to the daily, we need to know where the daily close is going to be. The daily is looking terrible in the sense that it looks like it got rejected by the 30-period moving average on the daily. And that would set us off for some serious downside if that's what happened. So we need to figure out where this is going to close, because this is looking more and more like an indecision candle. And if we can get another candle, tomorrow's candle, to trade above here, we may be okay. But I'm not putting great odds at that. We have broken down from this trend line. I am expecting some type of move to come back and retest this at some point as resistance. I just don't know when that's going to happen. It's getting less and less likely that it can happen. However, I still have my April 3rd date that I set about a month and a half ago. And I'm not exactly sure what the significance of this date is, but that was that's the date the indicator said to pay attention to that I'm working on. So going over here, you'll notice that I drew this ascending triangle. I fitted it so that this was the top. And unfortunately, it does break bodies here and here. It does break these two bodies. However, it only breaks this body because of the close, and this body just by the fact that there's no gaps in the trading on Bitcoin. So it only has one candle break. It's not perfect, but it is something I'm paying attention to. And if this is the correct pattern, and I'm more and more likely to say that this is the correct pattern, and the reason for that is because of the macro scale where Bitcoin's at. And Bitcoin's looking really, really good on the macro scale. I mean, my targets are honestly moving up the more and more I keep looking through this. And we're still making a higher low even if we stop right here. We could close all the way down here and still make a higher low at 45. then back down here, and that keeps my trend intact. So my weekly chart is just not telling me to be scared yet. Yes, there's divergence on the RSI. Yes, the MACD is looking flat, but the structure is just so bullish. And I mean, I'm not concerned. The fundamentals are changing on Bitcoin pretty drastically. So we'll have to see where that takes us. And I think that's everything we have to talk about today. I did draw this purple box yesterday as a potential buy area off the breakdown of this descending triangle on the 4-hour. But that depends on if this is a descending triangle that's taking precedent inside of an ascending triangle on the daily that has not perfect, but close. And where the weekly wants to end up closing on Sunday. So this week is critical. It's going to be very interesting to see where the price goes tomorrow, and if we start going back up or if we accelerate to the downside. All right, that's all I have to talk about, and everyone have a wonderful day, and I will talk to you tomorrow morning. Bye for now.